Hello, Heidi.
Hello, Petra.
Nice to see you today.
Yeah, you too.
We are going to have a kind of interview about your mission statement at your language center in Finland. Maybe first of all, you can introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Petra. Yes, I'm Heidi. I'm from Finland, director of language center in what we could say the second biggest university in Finland. It's called Aalto University, after the famous architecture Alvar Aalto. It's a fairly new university, a merger of three older universities: the University of Technology, Business, Art and Design.
Okay.
What about you, Petra? You tell about yourself?
So I'm from the language center of the University of Basel, and I have been working in a circle focus group on management and leadership since September 2013.
13, yes, that's correct.
So,
yeah.
And today I have the pleasure to ask her some questions. First of all, Heidi, I would like to know, why do you want to talk about a mission statement for language centers?
Yes, good. That's a good question. Yesterday, I think we already started talking a little bit about the differences as a director, working as a director, between leadership and management. And I would say that mission statement is part of what I see as being a leader, leading a language center, part of your leadership work. It is because of this, it is for leading your unit is absolutely crucial, central for how you develop your language center, how you enable your unit to work, to give its best performance. For that, I think you need to have a good, clear mission statement.
Okay, so what do you think there are future challenges for the language center and the mission you've already compiled in a way?
Yes. Well, mission statement, as I said, I think it's very important to internally, first of all, so that your personnel knows where you're heading towards, but also externally, so that you can communicate to stakeholders within the university and then to stakeholders what you are there for. Now, in today's academic world, I find this very crucial, central in the sense that we are facing challenges, new challenges, the kinds of challenges that put also, there's a possibility, if you would like, if we put it this way, for language centers to take a more central role in a university. We've also been here already talking about internationalization. What does it actually mean? How can language center give an active input in the university's strive at becoming more international in different ways? Digitalization. What does it mean actually for the use of languages for communication? When that is what we are doing, we are teaching languages, we are teaching people to communicate. Have we actually taken this on board? What does it mean, the digitalized communication context that we're living in? How do we do that in our teaching? Is it part of our teaching? Do we actually have a strategy of taking that in as part of our development of teaching? Those, I would say, are the sort of general themes of development that every university is facing or should realize that is facing. Moreover, if we look more to the pedagogical development aspects, concepts like out-of-classroom learning or integration of languages and communication with subjects, teaching, subject learning, how do we actually tackle that? Do we have a clear understanding of how we step by step bring in these concepts into what we teach, what the students are learning? So I would say those are the sort of major challenges, each one of these big challenges, and to be able to face that, I think we need to understand kind of like the raison d'être. Why are we there as a language center? What role can we take?
Yeah. So you were talking about the challenges. I think this goes for different members, staff members of your institution, and of course it's also something that is necessary for higher education on a whole.
Yes.
So how do you see this?
You mean
So all the different tasks
yeah.
of, for example, your staff members?
Yes. Well, looking at these challenges and how we could meet the challenges as part of what we do as a language center, taking into consideration the whole of our personnel. That's where I would like to bring in the concept of research or research engagement. We don't have to call it research. I know it's a little bit of an on-off maybe word for language centers in universities. We could also call it professional expertise. Active engagement in professional expertise, or let's call it then research. And what I mean by this is that as I see it in this current situation and the development challenges, positive ones, we cannot afford to have personnel who is not actively searching for new information, keeping him or herself up to date, collaboratively, talking to colleagues. What is the new information? How do they do things? How do they develop? And here I'm referring to not only to the teachers but also to the administrative personnel in language centers. I think this is a thing where we should have a shared feeling of being in this together. We're all working for the same mission. We all have the same mission in a language center, and we should all be working for the same purpose, engaging in that way everybody in this mission, so that people seek to find new ways of doing things if this is not working the best way, looking for the relevant literature, research, new methods, whatever.
How would you proceed? So, for example, for the administrative staff, how would you, which way you would choose in order to give them the possibility to also do a little bit of such work?
Well, I think actually, Petra, you have a great example, referring to your what you told me about how you would like to engage your secretaries. Could you give that? I think that's a perfect example.
Yeah. So for some of my assistants, at least, they studied philology, so they know what it's all about, and if they know how to do some research work. And sometimes I give them some special questions in order to do some research, literature, to put it together, to compile lists, etc., etc. And as far as I told you already, as far as I have experienced, sometimes they do not really want to do it, not because they are lazy, but to do some administrative work is much easier. So one is used to do that, and there is the next mail and 10 other mails that need to be responded, and so I think there is a lot of work to be done to give them the possibility to understand how this is necessary, and I myself as an assistant can also take part in this kind of work, doing these tasks.
Yes, I think that is a very good example of how you engage all of your personnel in what is the mission, what is the core task of your language center.
And how can research engagement and language centers' missions be combined? Just
yes.
Also on the level of higher education institutions.
Yes. When I talk about research engagement, I want to be clear about that I'm not talking about only then somebody doing research in the sense of doing a doctoral thesis or whatever. I give it a much larger definition. What I mean here is actively keeping yourself up to date with what is happening within your field, offering the possibility for personnel to have joint collaborative projects that are always linked to the mission statement of the Language Center. That is, what the Language Center is doing, how should the Language Center's mission for that purpose be developed. So I'm bringing it down to the development of teaching or other services the Language Center is offering, linking the research engagement into that task, and at the same time then trying to make people aware of the necessity of actively thinking, how can I develop my, could be an assistant, my tiny steps in this whole big picture, how can I develop what I do, how can I contribute to this in a better way?
And I think as well that it needs to be underlined that especially lecturers in our institutions,
yes,
they really need to know and to recognize in a way that it's not only, or their job is not only done by just teaching,
no,
just putting some manual or doing some exercises,
no,
but they also need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think it's as language managers, it's our task to really show them possibility in order
yes,
to get the necessary information.
yes, exactly, yes.
So, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you, Petra.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, likewise. Thank you.